What's going on, y'all? Y'all already know the vibes. Central Ohio Creators back in the building. It's the Jet T3V here, Ohio Keys as always. And as you can clearly see, y'all, we got a Columbus legend in the building with us today in this very room, man. We sharing a room with a legend right now, bro.
Yes, we are thankful.
Yes, sir.
Kind to say.
It's all the truth, I promise. It's all the truth.
Yeah.
Mr. Jerry Revish, for those that don't know, this is the face of the news. If you're from Columbus, you have to know this man as soon as you see him. He's a retired television news anchor for WBNS TV in Columbus, Ohio. You are now currently the lead pastor at Unity Temple, correct?
Yes, Unity Temple Ministries.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being here with us,
Yes,
man.
thank you.
My pleasure, my
Yes,
pleasure.
sir. Yes, sir. I'm just soaking in the aura right
Like we grew up watching you.
Yeah, literally.
Well, I appreciate that.
Literally.
I appreciate that. It's
Yes,
a pleasure
sir.
meeting you guys today and seeing what you're doing. This is really exciting to me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the first question I have for you, looking back on your career, what was the most memorable story you've covered?
Oh, there's been a bunch. When we went to New York City during the September 11th attacks and got to see the pile, as they say, where the Twin Towers had fallen and all of the smoke was still billowing out. This was the day, that evening after the attack, we drove up to New York City. And I saw all of that destruction, and it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it, what I was watching. That was a big story. I'd also say helping Walter Smith, who was a bodybuilder convicted wrongfully of 3 rapes and sentenced to like 75 to 100 years in prison. Being able to find some DNA evidence that was never tested that got him sprung after 11 years in prison, that was another big story for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
How did your upbringing in Youngstown, Ohio, shape your approach to journalism and storytelling?
Well, it was really, I wasn't a storyteller early on. When I was in Youngstown, I went to East High School and Youngstown State University, and I was a business major in school. But I also transferred out to Chapman College out in Orange, California, and my first day on campus there, I walked down a hallway and I heard all this music, and my ears just followed the music, and I turned the corner and there was this big glass window and 2 hippie-looking guys, tie-dye and long hair, and they were sitting in front of turntables and they were talking on the radio and spinning records. I said, how cool is that? I mean, it really was. So I changed my whole mindset from a business major to maybe broadcasting. And then I came to Columbus, and we can talk about that along the way. I came to Youngstown, went back to Youngstown and got a job at a radio station there. And then it went to, I got a call from a station here in Columbus, and I came here to WBNS Radio back in 1974. And I went 6 years in radio and then went over to TV. So that was kind of how I got in this. It was really a backdoor sort of thing. I was working at Lordstown in Youngstown, Ohio at that time as well, going to school. And working on a line, we were making Vegas, Chevy Vegas. That is an old car. I forgive you if you don't even know what a Vegas is.
I'm familiar. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man, okay. So let me ask you this real quick, side note. Are you still a car guy?
I still am a car guy.
Okay.
I love cars. I've got a Chrysler 300. It's like it's 2012. It's got like 177,000 miles on it.
I love 300s.
I bought my general manager's SL500 back in 2000s, and I still have it. And I just got it cleaned up today, and it's got a convertible top. So with weather like this, I got to put the top down.
You shining today.
Yeah. So I still love cars.
Nice.
What are some of the biggest challenges you've witnessed in the news industry?
The evolution, just trying to stay current, staying on top. Being in this room and podcasting with you all. That is something that when I started in the business, we never even thought of. I started in the business in like I said, 74, really 72 in Youngstown. And everything was analog, turntables, spinning records that way. I watched us go from film to videotape, and then to ENG, as they called it back then, electronic news gathering, doing live shots. And when we first started doing live shots, these 4 photographers in the first beginnings of live TV that way, these backpacks that were carrying was like 30, 40 pounds, and they were 2-piece with a big battery pack on the back, on the shoulder. Some of these guys, their health really was endangered by having to carry around all that heavy gear. Now look at us. It's cell phones. We get on the air with cell phones now. And the resolution is so great. It's like 4K, 8K. None of that stuff happened in the beginning. So I watched all of that happen. Our newsroom at Channel 10 was one of the first to go computer-driven in the whole country. I remember a couple of CBS guys, network guys, came into Channel 10, and they said, "This room is so quiet," because we had no typewriters. We were done with that, I thank God for having that history of knowing what a typewriter is. Some folks don't even know how to, type on a typewriter, but I had that experience. And so all of that, watching the evolution of this business, but one thing that stays the same, storytelling. You got to tell a good story.
Right.
You can have all the great equipment in the world, and if you can't tell a good story, it's of no value.
That's true.
Yeah.
Definitely agree there. Can you share a time with us that you faced a significant challenge on the job, and then how'd you overcome it?
Challenges on the job.
Take us into the news broadcaster.
Yeah, challenges on the job. Getting used to, I started in radio, and I'm glad about that because it taught me how to write for the ear and not the eye. Because you have to create a picture. You have to create a picture of a 5-story tall chocolate sundae with a 50-pound maraschino cherry on top. You got to make a picture in people's minds about what that would look like. In television, it's always show. You can see it. So you always had to write to the video. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges for me getting into the business, going into TV, learning how to write on demand. When the clock is getting ready to hit 6 o'clock, you're standing out there on the sidewalk in front of a house that's on fire, you got to be ready to go. You might not have any notes in front of you. You might not have a whole lot of information, but you got to be able to convey to the people that are watching the newscast what's happening here. How did this happen? Who's involved? And all of that stuff. So it really challenged me in a wonderful, great way.
How did your partnership with Yolanda Harris influence your work and dynamic between you two?
Yolanda and me. Yolanda got on TV as a young woman. I mean, she was doing, I think, there was a kids show. I think she was in high school when she first got on. I think it was Channel 6. And then she started working at Channel 6 on the air. She was, coming out of high school there at Gahanna Lincoln and all of that. And I think she was a cheerleader back in the day. I think that's why she's still very perky, a very perky personality, because she has always been that way. Just a dream co-anchor to work with. I just loved working with her because she was so chill. She was just so easy to get along with, and she really knew the nuances of TV, and she knew how to not only look the part but also convey what needed to be conveyed as a news anchor. So she was a great co-anchor for me, and I was glad to have been able to finish my career with her.
Now, how did your experience in the radio prepare you for a career in television? I know you ran into some things you probably were seeing for the first time, but what did radio do for you that kind of brought you in with some type of already preparation?
It taught me how to write, and I think if anybody's going to have any success in TV, particularly news, you got to be able to write. whether you're a producer, and producers write a lot more than the reporters do. The reporters will write maybe 1 or 2 stories during the day, but the producer has to write the whole newscast, everything, the ins and outs and all of that. And you got to be able to be succinct with what you're talking about. You've got to be able to convey the thought in a clear, easily digestible way for people, because you're condensing very complex issues sometimes into like a minute and a half or a minute worth of television time, and you got to be able to break all that stuff down. So radio taught me how to do that. In the early days, we were getting on the air if we were out on the street by a payphone. We had to find where's the nearest payphone, and we would get on the air that way. This was before cell phones, all of that, before all of that. And you're out there with a pad and pencil, writing out your story, and then getting on a telephone line and coming in from wherever you are, talking to the anchor on the desk there. So it taught me a lot about beginnings, middles, and ends. A lot of times in the business, when you've got this story that you've been on, you don't quite know what am I going to say? What's the central issue here? What am I trying to tell viewers? What do I want them to walk away from the story with? So you got to take some time to weed out the stuff that's not important for the stuff that is. And so that's what radio taught me as I went into TV.
Fire.
Has there ever been a story that came across that was breaking news that you felt like, oh, this is a lot, but I know this is my job, so I'm going to have to tell this story?
Yes, for sure. I take you back to the Twin Towers collapsing there in New York. When we got on the scene, all of it was so massive. There were so many elements up to this story. You can talk about the destruction, you can talk about the lives lost, you can talk about different people coming up. You have to, what am I going to do here? I mean, for one moment there, I don't even know where to start. Well, what you do when you don't know where to start is that you just start. You just start somewhere and you build on the story from there. Start with, I talked to a couple of people today whose loved ones are missing, and they showed me a couple of pictures of them, and talk about that person, and from that it'll lead you to another place. So that is one of the things that was daunting for me when I started.
For those that don't know, you've been a part of the National Association for Black Journalists since 1985, I believe.
Yes.
And you're also the founder of Black Journalists for Ohio, correct?
For the Ohio, the Central Ohio chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the president there.
Okay.
There was someone who was also the president before me, but she was an academic there at Ohio State, and she didn't really want to carry the baton, so she just kind of handed it to me, and then I took it along. And then we had a high school journalism workshop where we'd have high school kids come in during the summer months for maybe 4 or 6 weeks, and just try to teach them the rudiments of the business. You can't teach it all in a moment, and in a week or a month. I mean, if you're going to be a reporter, you got to put in your, as they say, 10,000 hours.
Right.
It takes a long time to really develop a style and a point of view and an understanding of the work to be effective at that. So it took a lot of time, but we gave them the understanding of what it looks like to sit down in front of a microphone or get on camera. Had them write basic little stories so they could understand how to put together a package. And so it was really very helpful to me and helpful to them.
Now, stemming off of that, I just wanted to confirm that you were a member since 1985. With all of that being said, with your background, what advice would you give to an inspiring journalist, a black journalist that is entering the field today?
Be a sponge. Be a sponge. By that I mean soak up everything around you. Read a lot. Look at how easy it is for us to get up to speed on anything. We just open up our cell phones and go to Google or whatever else. Now we go to Chat and GPT and find information. Learn a lot of things. You've got to be, I was taught in the early years of the business by a couple of old guys at a radio station in Youngstown who said, a good reporter knows 1% of everything. You got to be familiar with so many different things. 1 minute you'll be doing a story at the Ohio State Fair about agriculture, and the next minute you're going into a crack house with Columbus police. I mean, you got to be able to be that kind of person who could move through these different scenes in the day, scenes in your life, and make sense of it all. So that's what I would say. And then write a lot. I don't even care if it's writing your auntie or your girlfriend. Write. I still do that as a pastor. Today I've got an idea about what I want to do for Mother's Day. Is coming up here. And so I've been doing a lot of research with that. And by the time I get to the final product of a sermon, I've rewritten that thing probably 10, 12 times. Just because you want to throw out the stuff that's not relevant and add the things that are.
Speaking of faith, what role has your faith played in your professional journey and your work as a news anchor?
It's everything. Before I got into broadcasting, I got saved in Youngstown, and it has informed my life. It has helped me be more sensitive to people, to understand the difficulties of life, to be fair. I think that's what you want to be. You want to be. I don't want to say hard-nosed, or maybe even tough, but you want to be fair when you're talking to people. You want to be fair and balanced. You want both sides of the story. So my faith helped me be a fair person and to understand the difficulties that people run into in their lives. Yeah.
After so many years of reporting on the community, how did it feel to transition from journalism to ministry?
Well, I was doing them both at the same time. I've been an ordained elder in the Church of God in Christ for more than 40 years, maybe 45. I became a pastor 14 years ago. Along the way, my faith and my work were always married, but I never really wanted to proselytize in a newscast or on the air. That was my bread and butter job, telling news stories. The gospel is not that. And so I've seen people who got saved and then they got on TV or on the radio and started quoting scriptures and stuff. No, that is not the place for that. You have to separate those jobs out.
Yes.
And fortunately, I was able to do that.
That's great. I had read that you were nominated on several occasions. I know it's at least 20 plus. How many Emmy nominations do you have in total? Do you know that?
Probably about 30 nominations.
Okay.
And anytime you, I don't want to say lose, you do lose. You didn't get your story's up for, your story's nominated, but then you don't win. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of that stuff, it would really, you're crestfallen because you had a great story. Why didn't they like this? Why didn't I win? And sometimes I wouldn't even enter because I was just too crestfallen to put the work out there. But I got over that.
Now, speaking of winning, you did a lot of that. Might not have been 100%, but I mean, you were still killing the game. You got 13 Emmys to show for it. How did it feel being recognized so many times for your outstanding work?
It felt good. I felt blessed. Your peers are the ones that decide who's going to get that Emmy. So that means there's other people in the business who look at your work and they say, "That's good. We're going to award this breaking news or this documentary or this whatever else to Jerry Revish for that work." It always made me feel good, and I was probably one of the two of all of them that I really cherished. I was a twice winner for Best News Anchor. I felt that was like a singular award that it had something to do with the whole of what I was doing, and I really appreciated that work, that honor. Yeah.
You've met a lot of different politicians and celebrities around the world. Do you have any favorite ones that you've met?
Barack Obama, I would say that. I got a chance to interview him twice at the White House.
Wow.
During his first 4 years, and then his second 4 years. I got 2 pictures in my office at church of he and I. One, they're both in the diplomat reception room, and the first one, he was thinner, he was younger, and the second one is in his second 4 years, and he had a lot of gray hair. Because it's the kind of work that ages you. Anybody will tell you to become president, you're going to age real quick behind that.
Yeah.
But he was. I loved his sense of fair play. He was laid back, but still very engaged. He was a decent man. The kind of stuff that you see going on in our current politics were never a part of his life. He was never like that. And I think as we continue to go on in America, we're going to see where guys like Barack Obama were few and far between.
How do you balance your role as a husband, father, grandfather, ministry, and a community leader? Because I know that has to be.
Yeah, how do you balance all of that? Great question. I just think you live your life, you move through the day, whatever it is. I got up early this morning and went to the florist and went to the card shop, and what else did I do for my bride of 51 years now? That's my home life is like that. I have children. I've got 2 kids and 4 grandchildren. They all live here in town. They're all in the church, and I get to see them all the time.
That's a blessing.
It is a blessing for me to do that. And being able to nurture young people. I was thinking today as I was coming in here, I want to get a couple of more guys in our church to engage the teen boys. These young men are going to be out of school here in a few weeks, and we want to do more with them. We want to keep them close by. I mean, somebody mentored me and mentored you all, and I think we owe something back for whatever success God has blessed us to have, to give back to somebody else.
Yes.
You retired in 2019. That was when you had recorded your last episode. I believe it was November 2019. What do you miss most about being on the air, and what do you not miss, if anything at all?
I don't have any regrets about the career that I've had, but I don't look back very often at all. I mean, I think about some of the stories in the sense of the people that I met and the situations that I experienced. I remember a lot of those things, and I enjoy them. They give me great pleasure to remember that. But I have no desire to go back and do that work again. I mean, it was, I had a career that spanned 45 years.
Yes.
And, not everybody gets 45 years in broadcasting, radio and TV. And I was blessed to be able to do that work. And now I'm still doing storytelling, but it's telling stories of the gospel. And so I still have those skills that I had when I was on the air. But I don't miss the deadlines. I don't miss the pressure. I don't miss the misunderstanding that people would have about a story or why you did that or why you did that. I don't miss that kind of. I mean, the business is kind of vicious these days when you think about it. There's a lot of people who don't like reporters, who don't like the news media, and they've got a lot of animus toward the business, media in general. And so I had a great career in it, and I turned the page and I don't look back.
I hear that.
You said you've been married for 51 years?
51 years.
What's the key to that?
It's a day at a time, for one. But also I felt when you're married, I'm not the same guy 51 years later than I was when I first got married. I had to learn a lot. And you are going to have to learn a lot. And some of that you learn is not going to be pleasant. It's going to be irksome. It's going to be problematic. There's some heavy lifting that goes in a marriage and a relationship. But I always found that when I find something to love about her more each day, something different, that helped me stay in the game, so to speak. I just wanted that. I don't think marriage should be something you put up with. I think it's something that you should be engaged in. It's an active thing, and every day can bring something new. You're married to somebody that is nothing like you, may not have been raised like you, anything. You're two different people, so you appreciate the difference. You don't, in my early days of marriage, I was trying to make her in the image that I wanted her to be in, and she me. But when we got past all of that, and we just appreciated the person that you're in love with and who you're with, when you can appreciate them, like all the time, it makes those 51 years go by quick, because you just think about how great this life is.
That's some good game right there. You were inducted into the Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame in 2005. What was that experience like? And did you know that there was a Hall of Fame for Ohio Broadcasting before being inducted?
Yes, I knew that there was an award like that. I never thought about being in it or winning that, if you can use the word win.
Yeah.
I was nominated by a woman by the name of Margaret Linton, who was a funeral home director in Youngstown. And she was proud of me for having not only worked in Youngstown, but then having moved on to a career here in Columbus. And she nominated me for that award. She was involved in the Urban League back then, and she tried to get more blacks involved in the business. This was back in, late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in there, as I remember. Affirmative action wasn't a bad word back then. This whole DEI demonization that we're seeing today. It's so tragic. It is so tragic. We have to recognize that minorities and black people in particular did not get the breaks, did not get the starts that white people did. True. And we were prohibited from doing some things. And so when an opportunity came up in broadcasting for any black person, it was something to be celebrated. You all are so young that you don't remember when Ed Sullivan used to have the Supremes on, or Ray Charles. We would holler through the house, "Black people on TV," because you didn't see that too often. But now it's so commonplace. But back then it wasn't.
How do you see the future of local news, especially with the rise of digital media and social media platforms like what we spoke on? How do you see it going in the future?
It's going to be challenged. Right now, we're seeing a fragmentation of the business in a lot of ways. It used to be the kind of destination television that you would be watching. You would sit down at night at 6 o'clock and watch the evening news. 11 o'clock, you'd watch the 11 o'clock news. You can get news all day, 24 hours a day now. And a lot of people disseminating that information, not just TV stations and radio stations. Lots of people have podcasts. They have ways to get on the internet and do the kind of business that was just confined to radio and TV outlets before. And because of that, there's so many outlets, the money that used to be in TV and radio has dwindled. It has gotten more fragmented because there's more people vying for those dollars. I mean, look at the collapse of newspapers when you think about it. Yeah. They're just, some of them, I think a third, maybe more, of newspapers have gone totally out of business. Yeah. Some cities don't have a regular everyday newspaper anymore. I think that's tragic. I think it's terrible.
Wow. Now, did you ever get offers from any other networks to come work?
Yeah, I got a couple of offers. CBS called once, and I think it was an opening in Pittsburgh, and there was something else in Chicago. I always liked Columbus. I always liked where I was at Channel 10. Channel 10 was owned by the Wolf family, very influential, wealthy family that WBNS, banks, newspapers, and shoes. Those were the businesses that they were involved in along the way. That's where you get the call letters from, WBNS. And they were deep-pocketed people. By that, I mean, if we never needed anything as far as equipment or we're going to go after a story, they had no problem as long as it was going to be a good story. And if you produced every day, your job security was locked down. You didn't have to worry about that. All you got to do is do your job every day, like we're paying you to do it.
Yeah.
So I remember all of that. And I was able to travel the world from Columbus, Ohio. The kind of places and stories I was able to do as a local news reporter, it's unheard of today.
Yeah.
You don't see that happening anymore. It's the networks, and even the networks don't do too much of that anymore. So it's changed a lot.
Now, 40 plus years, serving the Columbus community, I gotta know, your answer has gotta be the one that holds more weight than everybody else's we've asked this question just about. What's something that resonates with all people of Columbus besides the Buckeyes?
Say that again.
What's something that resonates with all people of Columbus besides the Buckeyes?
What's something that resonates with all the people of Columbus besides the Buckeyes? Goodness. Well, that's a hard question. That's a great question. I had never really thought about it. I think what attracted me to stay in Columbus was the wholesomeness of our city. I mean, we've got the same kind of problems that other cities have. But there's something about this city. You can go from the north side to the south side, east, west. There's always something different about a different side of town. Even though it's all Columbus, it's something different. The west side is not the same as the north side. The south side is different from the east side. I mean, there's a lot of variety around here.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of younger people in the city. The demographic here, I mean, the average age maybe 30-something. That's pretty young, maybe even younger than that. And we got 5 universities, and these hospitals are building so many new places. The economy is so diverse. I come from a steel town, and when the steel mills closed back in the middle 70s, we lost like a half of the population of Youngstown. Youngstown used to be the 3rd largest steel making city in the country. Yeah. It's my home. I still love it. I still go back, but it has not been able to retain or build on what it used to be.
Wow, 3rd biggest steel town in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yes.
That makes sense on why they feel so close to Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah,
like,
Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Yeah,
in Youngstown.
Because Cleveland's got the same thing. That's my hometown, where my family's from.
Okay.
I'm familiar with that too. Once the steel plants close, the population just year by year starting to get lower and lower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you was to write a book, what would you call it?
If I were going to write a book, it's the quick response, I survived. The quick response, I survived. Survived everything that was coming my way, good and bad. I reflect on my life, and I see a lot of different things. There's a lot of different scenes to that story. Sometimes I reflect on that. I survived it all. I think that's the whole point. You've got to be able to survive. When I got on at Channel 10, I got on as a general assignment reporter. I was working the weekends. I was working the worst shifts for a long time. And I didn't get the shots that some other guys, some white guys got. I was as good as them, but I didn't, they never picked me. But I decided I'm going to stay in this. I'm going to do the best I can. And after, no matter what, I'm going to be successful. And nothing beats success like success. I mean, if you told a good story, it doesn't matter what color you were. It doesn't matter what side of town you lived on. That story was good. It made sense, and it was valuable. And that was the guiding principle for me, to be the best I could be. And so I would tell young people, don't expect to start on the anchor chair where you only been in the business 6 months. You got to pay your dues. Yeah. Some folks don't want to pay dues. They want a lot of quick gratification, and it's not going to happen quickly. But if you stay in it, I mean, there was Dave Kaler in front of me. There was Lou Forrest in front of me. There was Bob Orr in front of me as far as the guys on the anchor desk. I had to wait those guys out until they left. And then they had no choice but to pick me because I was still there.
The longevity.
Yeah.
Earlier you had mentioned a little bit, you had touched on having a mentor and how we pretty much have all experienced that to some type of degree. Who are your mentors coming up? I mean, even to this day now, do you still have a mentor or someone you go to for advice or, any type of guidance? Who are your mentors?
Chuck White, he just turned 90 years old a couple of weeks ago. Chuck was the first black person on television in Ohio.
Wow.
In Ohio. And he guided me through a lot of things at Channel 10, how to handle this, how to keep your nose clean, how to stay out of trouble, how to just do the job. Eddie Saunders, who was on the radio as a gospel radio commentator and host back in the day, he taught me a lot of things about how to conduct yourself like out in the public. You're always going to be like, I never forgot that I was always the face of Channel 10 in some way. I was always Jerry Revish 10 TV. It wasn't like I was going to the grocery store and not going to be recognized or not going to be this or that. I was always that to people. And there's a certain responsibility that comes with that. There's a certain way you got to carry yourself because they have invested their time in you. Yeah, to watch you on the air for those years, to be on the newscast with you. That's where ratings come from. If people don't like the personality in front of them, they're going to go somewhere else. Yeah. And so I was blessed to have a certain likability factor with people who were watching TV. And to this day, I appreciate that. So those were two mentors for me. And there were other guys along the way, probably nameless, faceless people that just gave me some good advice about something in the business that I took to heart.
It's powerful.
Very powerful. What type of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
That he cared about people, that he was fair, that he was open, that he knew the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a message for the Columbus youth?
Columbus youth. I'd go back to the fictional book that you all are getting ready for me to write. Just learn how to survive. Learn how to handle every day. Don't get discouraged to the point of throwing in the towel. Don't throw in the towel. Don't do that. Stay with it. Stay with it. If this angle isn't working, try another angle. But just don't let that stop you. There were so many things I had to overcome in the business. I had worked for some news directors that couldn't stand me. I had worked for some people who didn't want to be around me. But by the grace of God, I was able to survive them and able to achieve and to climb. And I would say that to any young person, don't not think you can make it, because you can. Look at other people's climb, but yours is going to be different because it's going to be yours. Don't try to copy them. There's only one you. You want to be a number one you and not a number two somebody else. Yes, be the number one you.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. What do you believe is the key to success?
Key to success? Not quitting. I mean, you gotta show up every day. Yeah. I think it was Woody Allen who said, showing up is 80% of success. Yeah. Just showing up every day, staying there and being involved. That's the key to success, because you got to stay at it. If you found something that you love, stay with that and make sure it's something that is cut out for you. All of us have gifts and callings and talents, and you need to spend some time reflecting on, well, what am I good at? I might be good at a lot of things, but is there one thing that I'm better at than anything else? And it's that one thing that you're really good at that always holds the key to what you should be doing for a job. A lot of times people would come into the business with a certain preconceived idea about what it should be and what their role in it is. But they were ill-suited for that. This wasn't the thing that they'd be a better dentist than a news reporter. They might be a better school teacher than a news reporter. Know what you're good at and then build on that. That's your strength. That's your strength.
Wow. How important is your relationship to God?
It was everything and still is. As you get older, you wonder about mortality and immortality and where you're going to be in your life. He's put me here for a purpose. We all have a purpose in life, and you have to find out what that purpose is and be content with that purpose. I fell into I kind of backed into news reporting. I wasn't really. That wasn't my desire at first. I think I was more like a business major, and I really wanted to be an astronaut. But then I figured I'm not really that great in math, and I think people that worked in NASA were great in those sort of skills, and I didn't have that. But I don't know. When I started writing letters back home while I was at Chapman College, I would write home to my mom and dad, and there was something about that writing skill that I really appreciated and enjoy. And that's where I found out maybe this is what I could be doing for a living. And then I found being able to write matched up with media, matched up with radio and TV. Then I found my groove and I went from there. And that's so important. Yeah.
How did you become so strong with your your punctuation, as far as like with your speaking and everything? What practice went into being able to be so strong with your punctuality and just pronunciation? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I got you. I had some tough teachers. They were always honest about it's ask, not ax. Mm-hmm. It's jewelry, not jewelry. They were very sticklers for enunciation. It was important. And the more you do it, the better you are at it. And you've got to learn how to get your mouth around the words. I mean, here we are in today's society where people drop the T's all the time. It's like, Bill Clinton. No, it's not Bill Clinton, it's Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. And you even see that on the air sometimes. And when I hear that, I'm wondering, how did you get this job? And you don't even know how to correctly pronounce that T in the word. I mean, it's an epidemic. And our kids are growing up like that. And we've got to check them on it and tell them show them why it is so important. People judge you on how you speak. They may not you're on the other end of the phone line. They don't know what you look like, but they can pick up from your conversation, what you're about. And if you're lazy with your speech and lazy with your words, they're gonna see you as less than somebody who isn't lazy with their speech or their words. You're somebody that I should be listening to. So it's very important.
Was that something that they drew a focus to, like in radio? I would think radio because it's not visual focus.
Yes.
So was that something that they put a focus on as far as like how you speak into the mic, like those kind of things?
Right. It was very important because, as you say, you were just a voice in the ether. They didn't know what you looked like, and all they know is this voice that I'm listening to. And is it a voice that I should care about? Or is it a voice that I really shouldn't be concerned about too much? It's very important. And whether you're in television or radio or not, being able to communicate an idea to somebody, being able to tell them what your order is going to be off of this menu and they understand what you're saying, that's very important. When you're taking your car in to get it worked on, you got to be able to tell them what the problem is with your car and explain to them why you brought the car to them so that they'll have a better understanding. And then they're going to respect you a little bit more. They're going to respect, this is somebody that is intelligent, this is somebody that has worth and value, and I need to be paying attention to what he's saying to me.
Have you ever gotten to doing any narrator work?
A little bit. I have done some narration for a couple of universities here. I've done a couple of training videos. That stuff used to happen more when I was working than it does now. But every now and then I get a call to do an instructional video or an instructional audio tape, and I like that work.
Nice. I guess one of the final questions we got for you is like for like the future for like now that you're retired, you're doing your ministry work. What's next? What's your next chapter in life?
Outside of the ministries, of course.
Yeah.
Most people know that's not going away.
Yeah. Outside of the ministry, I want to travel some more. I enjoy the different places I've been able to travel to. The Lord has blessed me to. I was in Havana, Cuba, one of the last places that I visited. Bosnia during the war there. The Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Barbados. Argentina, Japan. I remember landing on an aircraft carrier back in the days of my work. Landing on an aircraft carrier. How many people get an opportunity to do something like that? Right. It was just a blessing to be able to do that. So you'd ask me what do I want to? What's next for me? Just enjoying life. I'm glad that I don't have a lot of the stress that I used to have to deal with every day, fighting the clock, being ready for the clock. You know, your whole life was around the clock, going to work. You had to be there for a 2:00 editorial meeting. You had to be on set 15 minutes before the newscast. Different things that were all around time. I don't have that worry anymore, and it's relaxing to me. And I just want to smell the roses. I love reading. I've always been an avid reader, and I enjoy those sorts of things in life. And I enjoy my wife and my kids and grandkids. I got a 7-year-old grandson who, he's the kind of guy you could sit down with a cup of coffee and have an adult conversation with. I mean, because he's just smart like that.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching his mind percolate when I'm talking to him and different things that he says to me. It's a blessing to live long enough to have grandkids and watch them grow. So I'm very thankful for all of the opportunities that I've had in life. And I just want to enjoy my life. You know, we don't know the day or the hour when we're going to be done down here. You know, only God knows that. So you want to find every day, find something in every day to be thankful for, to enjoy, and to be content with.
My last question I have for you, how was your experience today with Central Ohio Creators?
It's been great. You guys are incredible. I'm very honored to be here with you. Your minds are so fertile, and you think about a lot of different things. You're mature, you're deep that way. I mean, and I appreciate you. And I have nothing but blue skies and sunshine that I think is going to happen in your life. So
I received that. Come on now, in the name of Jesus.
It's a great day for me to see you guys. I didn't even know that you were doing this, and I haven't been in this building. I've been in this town for 50-some years, and I have never been in this building. Never. So today was a good day for me.
Come on now, mission accomplished. Also, too, y'all, for those that's still watching, this is a product of what LinkedIn can do for you.
Yes.
Don't underestimate the power of LinkedIn, y'all.
Yes. Right.
There's real professional things happening on LinkedIn. So, Jerry, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to speak for us both, and we definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for blessing us with your presence and with your intellect, just being able to go into the mind of the legend. That is Jerry Revish, man. Thank you.
God bless you, and keep on doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. That does it for this episode of the Central Ohio Creators. T3 Ville, Ohio Keys. Until the next one, y'all. We out.